Well, Spa-Francorchamps makes a fabulous sight in any weather, but when it is beautiful and sunny, as it is this afternoon, it is just beyond wonderful. A fantastic racetrack, a fantastic challenge for car and driver, and a great place. This place is packing itself full of fans. And Matt, because it's such a long track, it's hard to see just how many people have come in, but they've been streaming in all day long to come and watch the World Touring Car Championship here at Spa. And I think they're in for a great day. There's already been a lot of racing, and this should be some pretty thrilling action for them to watch.
That's right, Martin. I mean, it's hard looking at the television footage to grasp the length of this circuit and how far it is to get round. You know, it's the second longest circuit we go to on the calendar. You know, they're in a 2-minute 25 laps. So, I mean, it's a long way round. So they're going to have to do, there's going to be fewer laps to make it count. But slipstream is going to be vitally important around here and making it count and working as a pair against the people.
Well, taking a look around this Spa-Francorchamps circuit, courtesy of Sebastian Loeb, one of the 5 drivers that got through into the final period of qualifying, Q3.
Now, one of the things that's prevalent here, oh, a bit of a loose rear end there. One of the things that's been prevalent all weekend, Martin, as we touched on yesterday, is track limits. And drivers can put 2 wheels over the edge of the track limits, but if they're going 4 wheels off the track, in other words, over the thick red, white line which defines the track limit, they can be penalised for it. It's not 100%, does seem to be a bit of a lottery, but they can be penalised. And that was the same in qualifying, free practice, and it will also be the same in the races. So they're going to have to watch the toes.
Yeah, they definitely are. Ivan Muller picking his way through the grid as you look at Norbert Nagy, the new boy in the championship, in his Campos Racing Seat, one of last year's 1.6 turbo cars. He's come up from the European Touring Car Cup, racing here as well in Spa, and he clearly is looking to get a big bang for his buck by doing 2 European Touring Car races and 2 World Touring Car races.
Pepe Oriola's here. He's doing some coaching, isn't he? Is this one of the guys he's coaching?
Yep, he's coaching both the guys in the Campos team. And Pepe, unfortunately, didn't quite get a deal done to rejoin the championship this year, but he is still very keen to do so. Jean-Philippe lies 3rd on the grid, young Frenchman in a full season entry for Campos Racing. I'm not sure whether he has been here before. Surprisingly, few drivers have been here before. 2005 was the last time the World Touring Car Championship was here, and there's not too many drivers on the grid that were in that field. Gabriele Tarquini is, for instance, but Ivan Muller wasn't. Looking here, Pasquale Di Sabatino, 2nd on the grid, and was chatting to him on Saturday. He was saying this might be his last race in the World Touring Car Championship. He's very thankful to Franz Engstler for giving him the opportunity to race in Europe. But Engstler may have customers in the Asian races who will be in the car. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. And Engstler, Matt, if there is an advert for racing keeping you young and enthusiastic, Engstler is it. He just loves what he is doing.
Ah, Franz, he's just a fantastic advert and statesman for World Touring Cars and touring car racing in general. You know, he makes it work, but on the track, both off the track as well. You know, he puts the sponsorship together. Let's go down and speak to him now.
Yeah, he's with Ben Constanduros.
Pole position for TC2 category. Once again, Franz Engstler, it's been a really good year for you. This car seems to be suiting you, and you're having a good time with it.
Yeah, of course. The car works very well, and my team did a great job. I'm really happy about the season, and yeah, this weekend we had a strong weekend. Where I'm racing here in Spa, and my son had a kart race in Ampfing, so I would say congratulations, good luck for the race.
Thanks very much, Franz. Enjoy yours.
Thank you so much.
There you are. As unenthusiastic about life as ever, he just really, really loves this. He always has a masseur here, physiotherapist, to keep the old body going. He said that's the most important thing. He said the car the team take a look after, but the body I have to have treated properly. He said it's not bouncing the way it used to when I was a kid. Well, just in front of him on the grid, René Munich, another arch enthusiast. It can be interesting to see with the growth of World Rallycross, whether the former multiple German rallycross champion is tempted in that direction as well. Now that he's raced in the FIA GT1 World Championship, his second year now in the World Touring Car Championship, maybe he'll see World Rallycross as his next major challenge. Just ahead of him is James Thompson, sort of on his own a little bit in qualifying. He was towing around Mikhail Kozlowski, but didn't get any slipstreaming for anybody else. And Matt, on a circuit this long with such high-speed straights, actually getting any kind of a tow could give you half a second, and that could, you know, bump you 2 or 3 spots up the grid.
That's right. The Lada is running with the Eureka engine, and it's not a bad engine, but they seem to... Their main shortfall at the moment with the Granta is aerodynamic and how slippy they can make the car. They seem to have got some downforce on it, but not as much as the Citroen or Honda, I might add, but it seems to be a bit of a brick wall. They're carrying really good speed out of Eau Rouge, but then they just seem to hit a brick wall about another 20k higher, and then that's it. They're just dragging down the straight. It
is so wide at the front, so bluff at the front, that it's very difficult to pierce the air. Just ahead of Mikhail Kozlowski on the grid, but behind the best Lada in qualifying is Qinghua Ma. The Chinese driver was 3 seconds slower in qualifying than he'd been in free practice. Something changed. Now, he was saying, okay, the track conditions are different, it's hotter, a little less grippy or something, but Matt, 3 seconds is a massive margin ahead, and he just looked all at sea. The car just was not doing what you might expect it to do.
I mean, yeah, in qualifying, he looked as though he was overdriving the car, but he was just trying to extract something which he expected should be in the car and was in the car, but for some reason had gone away. Yes, the ambient had gone up to qualifying from free practice, but I know the Citroen mechanics and engineers were here past midnight last night with his car and, you know, trying to go over it in every minute detail, and I don't know if they found anything.
You just saw Christine Beckers at the front of the grid, by the way, a European touring car racer for Alfa Romeo in the 60s. Rob Huff has returned from racing in the Nürburgring 24 hours in an Audi TT. The car retired, but Rob is back here anyway, as planned, with his teammates.
Interesting little feature going on here at the moment with the FIA checking Rob's gloves to make sure they conform with the regulations, a pre-race check. Rob, after doing the Nürburgring 24 hours, how are you feeling this morning?
Yeah, a little bit jagged, but we're okay. You know, unfortunately, the car went out at 5 o'clock this morning with an engine problem, so I didn't get to do my second 3-hour stint. But you know, everything was going well in the night. We were doing good lap times. The car was strong. Really, really tough track, and especially at night, you can't see anything, and you're literally trying to drive on memory. But focus obviously now on the WTCC, 2 sprint races coming up. Try and make it exciting.
What do you think for World Touring Cars going to the Nordschleife for 2015? You know, there's lots of different feelings in the paddock. What are your feelings having raced there just a few moments ago?
I think, you know, for me, you know, I've been in WTCC for 10 years now, since day one, and, you know, this is a championship that's going to be part of my heart and my life forever, hopefully. And, you know, for me, it's one of the most exciting championships in the world. The Nordschleife is the most exciting track in the world. Combining the 2 events can only make for some awesome TV.
Thanks very much, Rob. Have a good race.
Thank you.
We're hearing from the grid that Dusan Borkovic's car has sprung a leak after the engine change. There's no morning warm-up anymore, so the first time to check that it actually is all together at speed is on the formation lap. And a report of a fire on the car, hopefully not too major. And he is down at the back of the grid after that engine change.
Martin, that middle part of the grid it's actually quite a good flashpoint. You know, you've got some hard chargers back there. You've got Montero in the Honda, we've got Chilton, we've got Qinghua Ma, who's going to be pushing hard, you know, if they've got that Citroen fixed. Huffy is going to try and make the best of the Lada. You know, he's always going to be pushing. He knows he hasn't got outright pace, but if he can pick some off early on, and then he can get on the trains and make the most of it.
Well, starting 9th, you just saw Gianni Morbidelli. He's the man who'll be on pole for race 2, so whatever he does in race 1, he'll be desperate to try and do without incurring any damage. There's only a 15-minute repair window between the races. Again, lots of Moroccan support for one of their nation's biggest sportsmen. Mehdi Benani will start in 8th place here for race 1. And he will be on the outside of the front row of the grid for race 2. So again, we are seeing Bernani and Morbidelli, although they couldn't find the speed in qualifying to get to the sharp end in race 1, with an opportunity perhaps to score big points in race 2, and maybe, as Morbidelli has done already, take an outright win away from the Citroën drivers.
Yeah, just having a nice little neat look inside Bernani's Honda there, and seeing the amount of controls. You know, it's getting very sort of Formula One-esque with the amount of controls that the driver can change in the car, the maps they can use.
Well, the car's, of course, a very different looking beast from last year. The aero package is very different indeed. You're allowed to have a major front splitter that can extend to 100 millimeters beyond the front of the car, and that's vital for channeling air around the car to increase its downforce. At the rear, a brand new wing, bigger and more effective, rather generating around 55-60 kilos of downforce compared to the 150 to 190 kilos that is estimated to be generated by the front. Now, of course, all of that means that you are creating drag and allowing the cars behind you on the long, fast sections here to tow up behind. A full flat floor helps the aerodynamic profile of the car, and it's noticeable particularly that Citroën are running a real aerodynamic rake, very much lower at the front than at the rear, and as the air goes under the car, it expands to fill the gap underneath, and that's what helps create downforce. It makes a low pressure area under the car, and so the air pressure above helps to push the car down onto the track. And managing that airflow is absolutely key to the aerodynamicist's greatest challenge, the lift-drag coefficient. Getting lift, or in this case, downforce, without too much drag. Tom Coronel here on the grid, 7th place in the Chevrolet. Lots of Dutch fans here, just across the border in Belgium. Alex is with him.
Tom Coronel, you do realise now is not the time to have a sleep, don't you?
Sorry, I didn't understand. What?
When I first came over, you were sleeping.
Yeah, but you know, it's one of those things. It's concentration, it's relaxation. You're alone in the car. Many things happening here on the grid with the people. So no, it's normal for me.
I just spoke to your guys about the fact that you have had some problems with balance.
Yeah, when I drove out of the pit, I heard a strange noise. It felt like my brakes were locked, but finally we found out probably a jack got stuck and was touching the floor, because when they tried to put the car up, the car didn't go up, so they think it's broken, and that was the problem. I'm not sure, but we hope we solve it.
Well, let's hope it doesn't decide to deploy itself around the lap. What you really don't want is an air jack dragging its way through the tarmac. At the back of the grid, Dusan Borkovic has been moved off his grid spot as they put down cement dust to clean up the oil. However, after the formation lap, he is going to have to find himself back to his grid spot. If he starts out of position, he will get a penalty. 6th on the grid, Norbert Michelis. Just having a little chat with him. He's really looking forward to racing here. He's raced many times on the simulator, never in real life. We're having a little Nordschleifer chat as well. He said, boy, we're going to have to spend so much time on the simulator, on computer games, and doing track days for next year's races at Nordschleifer. Otherwise, you'll be 30, 40, 50 seconds off the pace. Look below Gabriele Tarquini's car. Matt Neal, those gouges along, it's almost like decking has been created here on the grid. And that is, those grooves have been cut into the track to help stop it flooding in the rain and aquaplaning. But I'm wondering whether that will mean better or worse traction for the cars that are on that milled area, like Gabriele Tarquini, and like our 4th fastest man in qualifying, Hugo Valente. He's got a great opportunity perhaps to put himself on a podium amongst the Citroëns.
Yeah, Ben picked that up on yesterday in qualifying, and I've never seen it before. It's a small channels, very symmetrically grooved across, and it's apparently because obviously with the rapid changes in weather they have around here, they have a lot of aquaplaning on this start-finish straight. Another very prevalent thing is Muller is not in the #1 grid spot. He's in the #5 grid spot. They're starting them 2 rows further back, which is going to give them a longer run. That means they're going to be arriving at La Source a fair bit quicker. Now, I'm not too sure why they've done that, but it's definitely going to make more for a flashpoint at turn 1.
Yes, it might do. They'll just get there a little quicker. Of course, it is possible that this might just be for the green flag lap and that they might move further up, because otherwise pole position is right by the access gate. So when you're clearing the grid, trying to get trolleys off and all the fans off and all the grid walk people off might be a little more difficult.
No, you can't do it, Martin, because what it is, they are very anal where you must, and you can't, because you sit so far back and low down in these cars, you can't see your grid box. So if you look at the side, there'll be little pieces of tank tape, marker tape you'll see on the white wall to the right and to the left, and you line these up with your wing mirrors to try and make sure you're in the right grid spot.
Looking at Dusan Borkovic, assuming that his car makes it round on this first lap, he will start from an oily, sandy patch. Argentine flags being waved for Jose Maria Lopez, who lines up third with Ivan Muller on the inside, heading down to the first corner.
Out of trouble, think about race 2 as well, where I'm starting P5. So I hope you enjoy the race, and we hope to give you a good show. I'm gonna now get focused on my last few procedures. Take care, bye-bye.
Good luck to Thiago and to everybody else. Matt Neal World Touring Car Championship has only raced here once at Spa before. 2 epic encounters then in 2005. And looking forward to this, because again, this track just produces great races because it is a great racing track. That's why it's a legendary circuit, because it always produces not just a challenge for the driver, not just a technical challenge for the team, but great racing for the fans. Yeah,
it's Thiago just going through a lot of the list of things he's got to focus on, make sure up to correct temperature, brakes, tyres. You know, and another thing, because it's a standing start, is making sure the clutch, these racing clutches, if they're not really hot, they can snatch. And if they snatch, you can get too much wheel spin. So you've got to make sure they're nice and hot. Then the cushion element of them works, and you can slip them a bit better to try and get that power down, because getting 400 horsepower down through the front wheels very quickly is a bit of a challenge. But going back to lap 1, the real danger man for the 3 Citroens could be Hugo Valente. He was blindingly fast through that first sector. No one could match him, even the Citroens in qualifying. He seems to be super, super brave through Eau Rouge. So, yeah, there's a lot of oil down there, isn't there?
Yeah, that's Dusan Borkovic's car, which was hemorrhaging oil all the way around on the way to the grid, and then caught fire briefly on the grid. The Serbian driver right at the very back, you can see the red, white and blue. And, you know, that's not what you want when you've just changed the engine in the car, is it? You want it actually to be nice and oil tight and to work well. You'd be taking it straight back to the dealer if that's what happened to your road car. So Ivan Muller leads them up to the boss stop for the last time at non-racing speed. Sebastian Loeb will start alongside him. Jose Maria Lopez, the championship leader, in third. And Lopez, after failing to start at all, his car didn't get off the grid in race 2 in China, now needs another clean race weekend. He can afford to give away points to his 2 championship rivals, the other 2 Citroen drivers. He doesn't want to, but he can afford to if push comes to shove. Tension high in the Lada garage with the Chilton family at Roal Motorsport, with the Castrol Honda team and all the other private teams up and down the grid as we form up. Red and yellow slippery surface flag by Dusan Borkovic's grid spot. And we are ready to go here at Spa-Francorchamps. So the start for round 13 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Ivan Muller on the left of your screen, on pole position. The green flag waves at the back of the grid. Sebastian Loeb on the right, Jose Maria Lopez third on the grid, and Hugo Valente fourth with the bright yellow. Away they go. We don't see the lights from this side. Hopefully the driver's got it right. Muller with Loeb slotting in behind. Lopez third under pressure. Valente has got Tarquini up the inside and will be forced out wide. And Valente goes very wide indeed. Now he's going to have to insinuate himself back alongside Gabriele Tarquini. Matt Neal behind him, Montero, and the black car of Michelic are going to go wheel to wheel into Eau Rouge, as does Valente and Tarquini, and there was a touch, and the Italian is slow off the corner. He is going to be dead in the water.
Oh, it was the case of who was the bravest. But the
panning out. Look at Morbidelli. Morbidelli's got a great run out of Eau Rouge, and he is going straight by this on the outside on his own as Muller defends. Loeb, Lopez and Valente 1, 2, 3, 4, and everyone else in 5th position as Morbidelli gets 5th place. Wow.
That's like a scene from Ben-Hur.
Benani goes 6 or 7 places up the order. He's going to have to give them all back as he comes back on. Qinghua Ma avoiding contact. No dramas so far. Well, dramas, but no contact so far. Mikulits with Huff around the outside at Rivage.
Fantastic first few corners from Morbidelli, but the gaps just seem to open up for him at the right point. And the Chevy has got a good, strong top end on its engine, so that would have paid him dividends down the long straight.
That's what you need, though. You need those breaks in traffic at the start when it's a big cluster like that of cars right in front of you. And that was all because Tarquini and Valente got together in Eau Rouge. Tarquini then very slow out of Redillon, the left-handed exit of Eau Rouge, and onto the straight, and everybody bunched up behind him because he was desperately trying to hold them all off. And on the oil, ooh, that is Kozlowski.
That was Huffy.
Oh, it's Huffy on the oil. He found the oil that Dusan Borkovic left on the way to the grid, and he may not be the only one who discovers that before the end of the lap.
Cases like that with the oil, you just got to trust and hope. The car turns into it in front of you, and you've just got to follow him through.
You've got to try and straddle it, but sometimes you just can't. Mikulits up the inside of Benani, and the battle for the lead. Loeb versus Muller. Muller's got the advantage. Track position. Loeb all over him at the moment.
More oil down here as well.
Well, Dusan's car was leaving it everywhere. I think the quick dry is down where the marshals could get to it in time. Tarquini goes inside Benani. He's now right behind Mikulic in the black car. Lead 4 still away, but Valente being dropped by the Citroens, Matt. He can't stay with them even with a slipstream, it seems.
Tarquini's had an awful first lap, but Montero's had a cracker from 10th. He's right up to 6th, and he's on the move.
Yeah, and Morbidelli from 9th on the grid is in 5th, and they may get closer to Hugo Valente, because Valente is being left by the Citroens. Morbidelli's pulling away, and Morbidelli lacking nothing in commitment in Eau Rouge. The car's really wriggling and twitching. Saw Qinghua Ma there, his Citroen, you know, snapping away at both the front and the rear. On board with Lopez, getting the toe off Loeb, but can't go the long way around the outside. Valente braking desperately late to try and stay with them.
Valente's actually just set the fastest first sector of the race, so he's just blindingly brave, or
wow,
or he's got the car really working well through Eau Rouge in that first sector.
Borkovic sandbags Ma there and goes around the outs of him from 11th. Borkovic has got up to 11th place, so the engine might not have been great on the way to the grid, but it seems to be A-OK now. Valente running out very wide again in Pouhon, as he did in qualifying. And drivers have been told that track limits must be respected in the race as well. Borkovic flirting with the exit of the corner there in the background. As we watch Norbert Mikulic, who didn't really get the car turned in properly there into the first part of the double left-hander at Pouhon.
I just saw a medical car flash past the edge of our commentary box.
He may just have finished his out lap behind the back of the field. They are on lap 2. Let's take a look again. Well, he gets a great start, flags waving for... Oh, Tom Chilton didn't get off the grid. Didn't notice that as we were looking at the front of the field. He did get started last of all, and he's now up to 15th, actually. A good getaway from Muller, really needed that. Loeb tucked in behind him, fending off Lopez, and everybody else somehow scrabbled through.
Bit of touchy-feely there.
Yeah. Who was behind Mikulic? That might have been Montero tapping him up the backside. No penalties, no fouls so far. Muller trying to break away, and now he has. It's Loeb and Lopez, look. Right together as Kozlowski battles with Chilton. Contact at the bus stop. Kozlowski stays in front just. Tom Chilton trying to come back up the order, though. But this is the battle now for 13th place. So the Chevys looking very quick here. Wherever they've started, they've been able to slice their way up the field. And now look at Muller. As the battle of Loeb and Lopez develops, Muller is running away, Matt, which is exactly what he needed.
Well, there's two things here. Either Muller can make the break while Loeb starts to defend to Lopez, or if these two got any brains, they'd work together and use the slipstream to pull Muller back in. But I think they're too busy fighting each other.
I think Lopez is savvy enough that he'll sit behind Loeb and let the two of their cars, quicker than Muller on its own, creep up there. This is one of the strange, perplexing things about aerodynamics is those two cars will be better together through the air than Muller is on his own.
Yeah, on the flip side, Martin, if Lopez thinks he's faster, and he does look faster than Loeb at the moment, he just wants to get in front and get a move on.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the TC2 class, John Philippi goes around the outside of Pasquale Di Sabatino for second at Les Combes, and Norbert Nagy trying to stick his nose in there as well in the other Seat. Great battle here. They're 3.5 seconds behind Franz Engsler, and that gap is only going to grow, Matt, as they trip each other up and arm wrestle round the corners, because Engsler on his own will go quicker, smoother, and pull away. There he is, our TC2 leader.
Yeah, OK, Engsler's got to punch his own way through the air, and he's got his own drag, but these three are going to be tripping all over themselves as they scrap, because especially with the BMWs in faster in certain sections and slower in others, and the Seat. So this is going to only aid Franz.
So Di Sabatino in the middle there. Drive-through penalty for car number 25 for exceeding the track limits, and that is Mehdi Benani. And also for Hugo Valente out of 4th place. He will get a drive-through penalty as well. As Lopez throws it up the inside of Sebastian Loeb at the bus stop, parks it on the apex. Loeb is going the long way round, wheel to wheel. And now who's going to win the sprint down to the first corner? Loeb's on your left. He's got the advantage. He's got track position. He will hold on to 2nd place. But Lopez came out late there, Matt, and caught Loeb by surprise.
Yeah, I thought that was a cracking move, touring car move off Lopez, get in there and then block him, but Loeb amazingly went all the way around the outside, and then so Lopez went wide into La Source for turn 1 to trying to get the cut back, so Loeb drove him wide and kept him wide. It was a good bit of brinksmanship on both parts.
Look at the way the car is lifted off the track as it hits the curbs all the way through Eau Rouge.
Watch this though, Martin. Lopez should get a cracking slipstream down here.
He's right with him. Now he is moving it up a gear. We're nearly halfway into the race. We're on lap 4 of 9.
He doesn't seem to be able to use it though. Yeah, and Valente's still there, you know, punching the lap times in. They're not dropping him.
Yeah, but he's got that drive-through penalty hanging over his head, which he will have to do, which will move Morbidelli, Montero, Coronel, Mikulic, Tarquini and Borkovic up to the battle for 4th, basically. Lopez. Oh, I thought he got through there for a moment. No, he's still in 3rd place behind Loeb.
It's obvious Lopez is the quicker of the two at the moment.
Ooh, track limits. All 4 wheels inside the white line there for Sebastian Loeb in defence. Now, whether they're going to look at that, corner 1 is one of the corners that we were told they'd be looking at.
I think it's the exit more than the apex.
I'm sorry, the white line, again, you know, we get back to the argument yesterday, white lines are white lines. It's about 8 wide here. This is the battle now for 5th place. Tiago Montero goes through, and we're on board with Tom Coronel. He's trying to use the toe of Montero. There's Tarquini, and they're all going right by him. This is like NASCAR on an oval, hung out to dry. If you haven't got a towing buddy, you don't get through. And was that Borkovic going around the outside, or was that Morbidelli? Oh, and Huff in replay. Sorry, didn't see the little replay logo coming up there as I look back from my timing screen. That's what happened to him.
Poor old Huff is not having a good weekend of it at the minute, is he? His Nürburgring stuff.
Yeah, he got on the oil and off he went.
He wasn't helped by Quinquamar there, was he?
I don't think so. I think that was probably oil. Now then, Loeb is consolidating his 2nd place. Lopez drops back a couple of car lengths as they run up the hill towards the bus stop.
Now, the big problem for Lopez now is he's been following so closely for, you know, the first 4 laps that engine temperature is going to start rising, and as your engine temperature rises, your horsepower drops away because it starts to go into a little wee bit of a safe mode. But also, he starts to lose some of the downforce, so the aerodynamic grip, which starts to work his tyres harder. So he's either got to make it count, or he's got to drop back, let the engine recover, let the tyres recover, and then have another stab of it. Then he'll have to ride having a challenge of Muller off and just go for 2nd place later in the race.
He came here 39 points ahead of Ivan Muller. That's down to 41 rather. That's down to 39 after qualifying. So he can afford maybe to give up a few points, but he doesn't want to keep doing that. Valente must serve his drive-through on this lap. Loeb and Lopez wheel to wheel, and again the Argentine trying to go the long way round the Alsatian. This is the home race realistically for Ivan Muller and for Sebastian Loeb. They're both from Alsace in the northeast corner of France, close to the German border, so this is as close as they get to home as their local fans get to a home race for them. And behind, Norbert Mikelic, Gabriele Tarquini, this is 8th and 9th. Tom Coronel's got by and gone. And then behind, Dusan Borkovic, Quing Hua Ma and Tom Chilton, 10th, 11th, 12th. And of course, these will all move up one spot as the drive-through penalty is taken by Ugo Valente. And if it's not taken by Ugo Valente, they'll move up one spot anyway because he'll be excluded.
So much for my theory that Jose Maria Lopez is dropping back to save his tyres and engine. He's just gone and smacked in the fastest first sector by half a second quicker than Loeb. And again, he's on the move again. That's
probably slipstream up the hill. In fact, Ivan Muller just set the fastest race lap, not the last lap, but the one previously, 2:26.5. He did a 2:26.8 last time round. So Muller really, really pushing hard, saving nothing.
Yeah, this is exactly what Muller needs. He needs these two scrapping with each other. I mean, he was a different person after qualifying. You could see he was more upbeat. You know, he's been down the last couple of races. It just hasn't been going his way. But all we need is a couple of good results for the Frenchman, and you're going to see a totally different battle in, going forward. He's got his daughter here. In fact, he's got both his daughters here, and Justine, his girlfriend, and feeling very much relaxed at home. There is the Zengo Motorsport team pit wall. So their man Norbert Mikelic in 8th place at the moment. Gianni Morbidelli holding on to 4th or 5th ahead of Thiago Montero, and Norby just in front of Gabriele Tarquini. You know, what will be happening as well is the Citroën engineers will be on the radio to all their guys, as will all the teams be, saying there have been drive-through penalties already being dished out for Valente, as we're just seeing there, and Bernani. So they'll be telling their drivers, you've got to be super careful, otherwise you are going to get pinged. Well, Bernani served his early. Valente left it as long as he could, trying to keep with the slipstream of the Citroëns. And again, the third car in your shot, our championship leader, Jose Maria Lopez, trying to get around Sebastian Loeb. Hasn't looked inside yet, keeps looking at the outside. Now, does that suggest to you that on the last lap he'll lunge up the inside? I'll tell you what, considering Loeb's comparative lack of experience in touring car racing, he's picked up the tactics pretty well, hasn't he? He's driving a very wide car there. He is. He's a very sharp operator. Dusan Borkovic, Quing Hua Ma and Tom Chilton. Look at his front screen. It's almost completely inverted. Now, has something hit it? Or is it just popped out of its mounting and therefore just being pushed back by the air? That could have been a little bit of the problem from qualifying, like it's not sealed properly. That's entirely possible. It has clearly popped out of the frame. The corners are sticking way out of it. That's not just the windscreen strip, that's the windscreen. It's almost like it's been put in the wrong way around, isn't it? And they're not glass, they're Lexan, aren't they? They're bulletproof plastic, and yeah, the engineers are seeing it now. That's dangerous. He needs to get a black and orange flag, actually, to get him off the racetrack. Because if that flies off, it is bulletproof. It will go straight through somebody else's car. Huff and Bernani. The battle for 15th place after Mehdi served his drive-through. Honda goes through past the Lada up at Les Combes as Muller continues to build his lead. He's now 3 seconds clear of Loeb. Loeb at the beginning of the lap was 0.6 clear of Lopez. That's looking more like 1.2 seconds now. Chilton's made very good progress, considering he started dead last off the grid, and he's back up to 12th now. You know, he's going to be if he could work at it, get back into the top 10. Well, and Borkovic 10th from absolutely stone last, 21st on the grid. Chilton, as you said, was left at the start, so he was sort of last and a 10-second penalty, if you like. Great battle going on here. Morbidelli, Montero, Coronel. This is for best non-Citroën. So for 4th position at the moment, Gianni Morbidelli could score another big hatful of points here. Morbidelli showing lots of class this year in the All-Inkle Motorsport Chevrolet. The team are new to the car. He's new to the team. He's new, or returns to the championship after many years away. A lot of the circuits he does know, but learning the car and sorting it out, I mean, he admitted after qualifying that they didn't really know where they were going, and yet when it gets to racing, he's an old-fashioned boy. He rolls his sleeves up, and Matt, he really knows what he's doing. Same as Loeb and Lopez, just getting on with this great battle for second. Lopez, this is getting good now. Lopez is getting a little bit irritable. He's having enough of Loeb's tactics. Another fastest first sector of the race for Jose Maria Lopez. That's what the slipstream does for you.
And Loeb is driving a great race, trail breaking deep into Rivage, losing no ground where it counts against Jose Maria Lopez.
Quinquan Mars still managing to keep going.
Yep.
But those lead 3 Citroens now, they are 2.5 seconds quicker than anybody else out there. So, well, certainly got consistency nailed.
To put it into
well,
perspective, Muller and Lopez, fastest laps both in the 2:26s, Mar in the 2:28s. So he can't anywhere near match the pace of the front runners, whereas in free practice, he was right in amongst them, 2nd, 3rd, 4th quickest.
No, that's Mar's best lap.
Yeah, that's his best lap.
2:31s now.
Yeah. And yet Muller is still in the 26s. So Mar's in traffic, he's in a bit of a battle, but he is still 5 seconds slower than his teammates. And lots of dust being kicked up everywhere. This is almost like a desert track now, as opposed to the green, verdant pastures of Spa-Francorchamps. Gabriele Tarquini still trying to find a way by Norbert Michelisz.
Yeah, Tarquini is still in fight-back mode. He's got back up to 8th place, but he's not going to be happy after that first lap incident sort of dropped him down the order.
Thiago Monteiro, 4th in the championship, best Honda driver, and again, best Honda driver in this race. He is having another really good start to the weekend. You know, he's habitually been the one of the two who has struck bad luck more often. This year, he actually seems to be getting a bit of a rub of the green.
Yeah, Monteiro, he didn't seem to go his way the last couple of years, and I thought it might be a front-wheel drive thing, you know, because he's historically a rear-wheel drive man. But he really seems to have found his mojo this year, and he's taken a proper good fight to Gabriele on the inter-team, you know, who can be quickest.
Well, you know from your own racing, Matt, you know, when things are going against you, it's very hard to pick yourself up week after week and really outperform yourself. But when things are going well, it seems the most natural thing in the world. Everything flows, and it all just seems to be going your way. You know, as ever, nothing stays the same forever. Bernani and Munich battling as Bernani goes by René Munich for 14th place.
There's a couple of good scraps going on down the field. We've got the Chilton, Mar, Borkovic scrap. It'd be nice to have a quick butchers at them. And also the Monteiro's only half a second behind Morbidelli.
Yep.
For being the next best of the rest.
And Coronel just behind them, and you got Michelisz, Tarquini, and of course, for the podium places, as Muller races by, you've got Loeb and Lopez just 7/10 apart. Well, there is Borkovic just easing away from Quinquan Mar, and the Citroen driver is holding up Tom Chilton.
Go on, Tom.
Holding up and holding off the Royal Motorsport Chevrolet. Mum and Dad are here this weekend, and so too is his fiancée Elle and their little baby boy who turns 1 next week.
Freddie.
He's a big lad, isn't he? He is just a little bundle of joy. Now, a warning about track limits again at turn 3, which is the left-handed uphill part of Eau Rouge for Mikhail Kozlowski. Not allowed to cut it too much. It really helps your speed up the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, the problem for Monteiro now is that that Chevy engine is very strong at the top end, and with the long straights we've got here at Spa, he's going to struggle in the slipstream.
Yeah, he's trying to slipstream up behind Morbidelli and stay away from Coronel, and in fact, that battle 4th, 5th and 6th is getting closer and closer. Just behind this duo, I think Lopez now has just relaxed a little and settled behind.
I don't know, Martin. He's going to get the last lap board, so we'll see. He could make one big final push. It'd be interesting to watch.
Well, we know from his previous exploits in World Touring Cars in Argentina last year and since the start of this year in the Citroen that he is a proper racer. He's very relaxed, he's very confident, and if there's a sniff, I'm sure he'll give it a go. Here's the battle for 4th. Black car Morbidelli. We're on board with Thiago Monteiro, and right behind is Tom Coronel. The gap covering the 3 of them is 1.1 seconds as Lopez predictably comes right up behind Sebastian Loeb. I said he was trying the outside every other lap. Would he send it round the inside this time? But he's going outside. He made Loeb defend, and now he's got through. And those points might be absolutely critical in Macau at the end of the year.
That's the old Andy Priault syndrome, isn't it? Fight for every last point, because that's
never leave a point on the
table.
Exactly right. It might come down to 1, and especially now when these three drivers started the season knowing without question one of them would be world champion. Behind, Borkovic 9th, Marr 10th, Chilton 11th. And looks now as though Marr is attacking Borkovic rather than defending from Chilton. Maybe Tom's asked too much of his tyres. Last lap for Morbidelli, Tarquini. Beg your pardon, Morbidelli Montero, isn't it? Montero again kicking up the dirt there.
Borkovic has moved up on the back of him, so Montero needs to just watch his move.
That's Tom Coronel.
Oh, is it?
But in fact, they are dropping him. He was 0.6 behind last lap. He's 0.8 behind this lap. It looks as though the Honda has got more tyre under it than the Chevrolet at the moment. Montero not close enough as they come through Pif Paf. Heading down towards Stavolo, and then the long climb up towards the bus stop. Ivan Muller's already out there. Pitches the car in. See, now he doesn't care that the tail is stepping around. That's what he wants. It's just the confidence to deal with it that he was missing a little. Into the bus stop for the final time. An exemplary performance from Ivan Muller. Pole position, dominated the run to the first corner and left his teammates to squabble. He takes victory, but only 7 points closer to Jose Maria Lopez, who is second, and Sebastian Loeb in third. The sort out for fourth. Montero, is he going to be able to use the extra grip? No, Morbidelli gets the door shut, parks it in the corner, and right behind comes Coronel. He's got a quicker run through the corner. He's going to overhaul the Honda at the line. It's going to be fourth Morbidelli, fifth Coronel, and sixth Thiago Montero. And Gianni Morbidelli, fourth position. And he will start race 2 from pole. Well, 1, 2, 3 for Citroën, and did we doubt it after qualifying that? Such was their pace.
You know, you look at the result, you go, oh yeah, another Citroën 1, 2, 3, but the result doesn't do justice to the type of racing that was out there. There was some cracking racing all the way through the field and internally at Citroën, which is great to see.
Yeah. The gloves are off, as they have been all season, apart from in Marrakesh, where they just wanted to reduce the damage. Hugo Valente retired on the last lap, didn't come by us. So our race winner, Ivan Muller, is on pit road, heading into Parc Fermé. And we will get ready to hear from them. Ben and Alex down in the finish area as Ivan Muller brings the car into the winner's circle for the 4th time this season. Now that brings him level with Jose Maria Lopez in terms of total wins this year. We've had a win also for Qinghua Ma, a win for Gianni Morbidelli, and 2 wins for Sebastian Loeb. So the Citroën drivers, predictably being very greedy about keeping the top step of the podium for themselves. And it's definitely more buoyant, more comfortable, more confident, more relaxed Ivan Muller here at Spa this weekend. And nailing that pole position lap was really key to that. He was also very tidy with that lap, Matt, absolutely leaving no chance that he could be penalised and lose pole. He was doing everything by the book, and it's all starting to roll his way a little.
Yeah, it's a great shot in the arm for his side of the garage, because even though they're all under the main Citroën umbrella, they will have their own individual engineers, mechanics, and people who are focused on their prime car, and they all want to beat each other. You know, it's an incredibly rivalry thing. Like the drivers want to beat each other, the engineers and the mechanics do as well. Yeah, so it'll be a massive shot in the arm for his side of the garage. You
absolutely want to be with the winning driver. You want your car, your driver, to be the one who wins the World Championship. Well, Jose Maria Lopez having a quick chat first to Argentine radio, Channel 12 from Cordoba here this weekend. And Pechito talking to his engineer. And actually, you know, we kind of thought at the beginning of the year, not speaking French in a French team with French teammates might be a bit of a handicap. In fact, it's almost his strongest point now, because he can't get drawn into the all-French rivalry, shouting matches, slanging matches, discussions. He just does what he does and gets on with it. And the politics, and there must be, is all kind of leaving him behind. Well, Ivan Muller scores 25 points for winning round 13 of the championship. We're into the second half numerically of the season as we get ready for flyaway races all the way to November and Macau. But it's just a 7-point gain over Jose Maria Lopez. And Matt, second place, much more useful for Lopez even than third would have been. And he keeps that challenge very strong as he is our championship leader still. Well, down in the pit lane is Alex, and she is with our race winner. Let's hear from Ivan Muller.
A fantastic result for Ivan Muller here at Spa-Francorchamps. You were superb off the line, and what a brilliant drive.
I did my best, you know, but on the same time I have the best car here on the grid. So one of the key was to do a correct start. My start wasn't brilliant, but I think it was the same for everyone. Then I pushed as hard as I could to make a gap to be out of the slipstream. And then I did my best to manage my front tire.
Were you aware of Loeb and Lopez having a little scrap behind you?
Yeah, I saw it. They were very close one each other, but I didn't know who was on the front. Unfortunately for the championship, Pichito could pass Seb, but now there is a second race.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Muller. It's brilliant.
Congratulations indeed to Ivan Muller. As he said, unfortunately for the championship, for which read me, Lopez did get by Loeb. And there's Laurie Tillman, who's running the pits for Eurosport France. Sure, she's had a chat with Seb.
I wonder if she's going to chat to Ivan again after the last one.
Well, he was...
he might be a bit more friendly this time.
Not wildly polite to her the last time. I think you know, she asked him a reasonable question. How come you're making so many mistakes? Because he was, and he was under pressure. And I think it was an entirely fair comment. But look at him now. He's all smiles down there as he gets ready to chat to our colleagues next door at Eurosport France. And Alex is hunting around for another victim, another interview.
Go on, Alex. Go and ask Seb why he let Lopez through.
Well, now the cars come into Parc Fermé, and as is habitual, there will be a 15-minute repair period. Normally, that will include fueling the car as well as tyres, brakes, anything else that needs doing. However, here the rules are in the pit lane at Spa, refueling may only be done by refuelers in fire suits, and nobody else may be touching the car at the same time. So here at Spa, uniquely, we've got a 15-minute repair period preceded or after it, I'm not sure which, by a 10-minute fuel-only period. Well, let's get down and have a chat with Franz Ensler, our TC2 winner.
Yet again. Need any introduction, Franz? Congratulations, another win here at Spa. Well done.
Yeah, Spa is a beautiful racetrack, up and down and fast corners, and I like it really much. And my team did a great job. The car was perfect in the balance. I did a very, very great lap time. So I'm happy. Yeah. And I hope now my son is car driving in Ampfing. I hope he do the same. Please, good luck, my son.
Well done, Franz. Thank you.
Okay, so there's another generation that, you know, he's been running Ensler Motorsport for a couple of decades. Sooner, or maybe later, probably later, he's going to end up being a team manager rather than a driver manager. And maybe it's when his son comes of age and starts to drive. And in this championship, that might be in a year or two. So round 13, stunning weather, a stunning location, Spa-Francorchamps. And the FIA World Touring Car drivers did not disappoint. The first race here produced some great action and high entertainment for the crowd. What it also produced was a lights-to-flag victory for Ivan Muller that was anything but straightforward. In the pit lane at Spa is our podium. In third place, after having been second almost all the way through the race, Sebastian Loeb. His Citroën teammate, Jose Maria Lopez, in second. And closing a few more points on the championship leader with his 4th race win of the season is Ivan Muller. So, 4-time world champion and 2 rookies joined on the podium by Yves Maton, the head of Citroën Racing. And Franz Engstler also on the podium. So the winning driver's anthem, and you'll recognise the winning manufacturer's anthem as well. So Ivan Muller wins race number 4 of the season. Citroën now on to 11 wins. That's 3 in the all-time rankings behind Alfa Romeo. And this, of course, is Citroën's first season. And with 6 pole positions, 1 behind Alfa Romeo's total. Blair Hoggs from Valvoline Europe presenting the trophy for our 3rd place driver, Sebastian Loeb. Ivan Muller now with 41 career wins in World Touring Car Championship. Rob Huff in 2nd place on 25. Jose Maria Lopez with 4 wins this year. Same now as Ivan Muller. And to present the Constructors' Trophy is Yves Baquelin from the House of Pommery. And also, of course, traditionally, the man from the RACB, Belgian Royal Automobile Club, is the chairman of our panel of stewards. Here, however, he is the ASM, the local steward. Brigitte Bonzé, the CEO of Citroën. There's a lot of Citroën big guns here this weekend. 1, 2, 3, very important indeed for them. Franz Engstler receives another winner's trophy in the Yokohama category for the TC2 cars. And you know, I'm not sure that he's enjoyed a season more than he's enjoying this one, despite the fact that he's not running at the front and with a chance of winning races outright. He just seems to be really loving his season this year. Big thumbs up for Ivan Muller. Trophies all round. And a clean sweep in race 1 for Citroën. Whether they are able to do the same in race 2, only time will tell. The 3 Citroën drivers will start 10th, 9th and 8th on the grid for race 2. Benoît Ma will still be back in 13th position. Confirmation of that race 1 result. And Matt Neal at the end of the year, Lopez diving around the outside of Sebastian Loeb for 2nd might prove to be really, really critical.
Well, that's how Andy Priau won so many championships, wasn't it? He was multiple champion. It's because he fought for every last point that was up for grabs on the grid. So he's certainly working for it, and he's certainly driving for it at the moment. But it's going to be with Muller just getting that little bit of a foothold back in, a little bit of more confidence back in. It ups the ante for both of them, and Lopez will know that. He'll recognise that immediately as well as a driver, because he doesn't want Ivan to get his confidence back. He wants to keep him down there where he knows he's on top. He knows he's on top, not just points-wise, but mentally-wise. So Lopez will be aware of that, and he'll be starting in front of Muller on the next grid. Yeah. So he's going to want to capitalise that to put Muller back in his place.
Well, he came here 41 points ahead of Muller. He's now 32 points ahead. So Muller's closed 9 points in qualifying and this race. And at that rate, it's not going to be long before they are level on points. So Lopez needs to start getting himself back in front of the 4-time world champion as quickly as he can.